Alright, well, my name is Amir. My topic is driving in the U.S. My major claim is that we should increase funding for the Department of Transportation. My secondary claims, driving in the U.S. has become significantly safer since the implementation of the DOT or Department of Transportation, but it could always be better. Vehicles in the U.S. are safer than before thanks to the efforts of the DOT. The NHTSA, or National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, a subdivision of the DOT, regulates, tests, and ranks vehicle safety. It keeps manufacturers accountable and compliant with current regulations. This is something that we didn't have before and has greatly increased the safety in the vehicles we drive today. It's regulated airbags, brakes, child safety, electronic stability control, seat belts, tires, and much more in these vehicles. There are still people that argue that vehicles in the past were better built, stronger and therefore safer, but the truth of the matter is that those same vehicles were the ones polluting airways and hurting us in different ways. DOT has also succeeded to maintain the safety of older vehicles by regulating odometer fraud, requiring regular safety inspections, and otherwise. There's still loopholes, but overall the public is kept more informed thanks to this subdivision of the DOT. Drivers in the U.S. are also better prepared for the road ahead because the DOT maintains free driver and passenger safety campaigns, videos, and other valuable resources for new drivers. It also regulates driver's ed programs, ultimately putting more road-ready and responsible drivers amongst others already on the road. It also keeps drivers and vehicle owners more informed on tire safety, offers education on how to find the best car seats for their kids, and provides other common knowledge we all take for granted. It goes without saying that the increasingly high use of technologies, cell phones and otherwise, amongst both young and senior drivers have drastically reduced driver safety, but increased funding for the DOT would enable them to find new and innovative ways to help put a stop to that. Also, thanks to DOT, the roadways we drive on today are great in comparison to what we had in years past, but still not adept for the increasing number of drivers on the road today. So increased funding for the DOT would allow us to implement, more programs to better the roads we have today. Some ways the DOT would do this is by implementing ultra-high performance concrete connections for prefab bridges, more roadway departure safety, pavement friction, safety edges, rumble strips, and other barriers and guardrails throughout the U.S. The DOT has also taken a leading role in speed management and intersection safety. These are all great things, but at the end of the day, the roadways still need more expansion. It can be argued that with projects such as the State Route 91 expansion in Corona, the DOT already has the funding it needs to maintain the roadways. And this may be true, but it doesn't necessarily have enough to do it correctly and effectively and safely for us. I've got a photo here that I took just a few days ago. This is over the 91 freeway at the Maple Street Bridge in Corona. What you see here on the bridge is hundreds of nails just sitting there waiting for the rain to throw them on the freeway, causing tire blowouts, accidents, and other hazards to our safety. Increased funding for the DOT would allow them to put more people in place to regulate stuff like this and ultimately keep us all safe. So to recap, driving in the U.S. has become significantly safer since the implementation of the DOT, but it's still not reaching its full potential. We should increase the funding for the DOT to maintain all of our safety. And I'm done.
Well, I'm afraid it sounds like you just got the DOT webpage and read right from it about all the wonderful things the DOT did. I don't know what the argument is. There's no argument that the DOT is doing a bad job when it comes to auto safety. I don't think anybody denies that safety is improved. Your only argument is more money would make a bigger difference, but you have no demonstration of that. You don't show that there's a lack of money available for doing research. You don't show that there's a lack of money available for doing enforcement technology. The fact that there are a bunch of nails on a bridge over the 91 freeway means that somebody didn't do their job. The notion that if the DOT had more money, there wouldn't be any nails on that bridge is, a huge inferential leap that needs a hell of a lot more proof. Now, if there is a required number of inspectors or regulators that is not provided, for instance, if the DOT's authorization says that they're supposed to have an employee count of 100,000 and they're currently only at 80,000, then I think you've got an argument to say they are underfunded, they are understaffed. But we don't get any argument about that. We got a review of all of the great innovations of traffic safety over the last 50 years, which is not in dispute whatsoever. So you don't even tell us how much the funding should increase. And by the way, increased funding is a policy claim. It's not a claim of fact. The claim of fact would be that increased funding would substantially increase public safety. That would be a claim of fact. But you don't have any evidence that shows that more money would make a difference. You assert that if they had more money, they'd be able to deal with the technology better. You assert that they'd be able to better enforce these sorts of things. But I didn't hear any evidence. I didn't hear any experts say that. I didn't see any examples that demonstrate that. There isn't even any statistical information on all the improvements that have occurred because the DOT and the NHTSA have put in a whole variety of requirements. And that wouldn't have been hard to do. All you have to do is talk about the number of accidents per miles driven and how they have declined over the last 40 years. The total number of fatalities that have gone down. And if you could, for example, look at the horizon and say, here are 3 potential innovations that have been held back by a lack of DOT funding, that would then maybe make a better argument for that point. But we don't get anything like that. Like I said, we just get a historical review of what the DOT is doing. And I just don't think that there's a lot of dispute on, some of the things that you're talking about. You're just describing the history of what the DOT has done in the last 40 years. And I think pretty much everybody acknowledges that. So where is the argument? The argument has to be about how much money is necessary, and you don't give us a base figure, you don't give us a projected amount that's necessary. It's a little bit problematic. All right, thank you.